Ashley, great to see you. I've got a chance to meet you in the last couple of years. Thanks for doing the podcast.
My pleasure.
So
Thank
we want to know what's up with Ashley since leaving Framingham State. I know it's a big question.
I've done a lot of things. I've lived in Las Vegas for
Oh.
a few years. Yep. Lived in just outside Albany, New York. I've been married, divorced, have an incredible son who's about to be 5. Evolved my business and yeah, traveling, enjoying life.
What part of I lived in Utica for a couple of years.
Utica was where I went before I went to Framingham.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I was recruited to play soccer there. So that is where I went for a year and a half before transferring to Framingham.
Small world, isn't it?
Yeah, I lived in Schenectady.
Yep.
It's just outside of Albany. Utica is actually the dead center of New York. And I always laugh because anything outside New York City is what people consider upstate.
Yeah. And then people don't realize that we're actually closer to New York
That is
City.
an upstate New York.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's great. And currently you have a job where you're working from home, but you do a couple of different things, don't you?
Yeah. So I work full time for an insurance company. I have my business, Letter Your Life Designs, that I'm working on growing. I'm a single mom. So yeah, my plate is full, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, and we got to meet the kiddo at the 50th anniversary football dinner, and he seems quite the fun with you. I'm sure a lot of time dedication.
Yeah, he sees we have this phenomenal frame from the Gatepost, an article they did when I was in college, and it has a picture of me from soccer and a picture for me from football. And my son will always go up and say, "That's my mom. You played football." And having him be able to see that, now he's always trying to compete with me.
Yeah.
And I find it ironic because I'm all about the opposite. And if you ask any of my teammates, especially on the women's soccer team, I was always about the camaraderie, pumping people up and stuff. If you win, you win. If you lose, you lose, right? Like,
Yeah.
what do you take away from it? So it's fun watching my son see who I was, who I am.
Yeah, he's got something certainly to strive for.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
segue into you were playing soccer and then how you landed football. And our current head coach, Tom Kelly, has a lot to do with that.
That he does. So Coach Kelly, or TK, was not athletic director, or not head coach yet, excuse me. He was only the athletic director. So I had finished up my career in women's soccer fall of 2006. And after that football season, I feel he had about enough. I believe they might have been 4-44 within 4 years, let alone I know the record prior to that was just as bad. So he took the initiative and he fired the entire football staff and wanted to rebuild what it once was 51 years ago now. And my senior year of soccer, so actually let's take a step back, junior year, I'll never forget it. We're up at Keene State College, had a free kick. So I always took any free kicks from the 50-yard line back.
Yeah.
And took a shot and scored from 50 yards out.
Wow.
That was my first time ever since I was 10 years old to score from midfield. And it was kind of a, wow, okay. So then going to senior year, I was the second leading scorer on the soccer team as the goalie. I had 3 goals from 50 yards out.
Wow.
So knowing now who TK is and how he works and always trying to find the best people for the right fit. And I don't mean that as in I'm the best, but he tries to find everyone that will work, out best. So after my senior year, he knew I had an extra semester left over from transferring. And he said, "Hey, Bakes, why don't you come play some football?" And I'm like, "You're out of your mind. Why would I ever play football?" So it took until July. Now, preseason's in August.
Yeah.
It took until July that I had a moment of, why not?
Yeah.
I have nothing to lose. I know that I'm an athlete. I know that I can play. Let's go for it. So I told him about a month before preseason that, yeah, let's do this.
Incredible. And, that's Tom at that point. I mean, we were living in a different culture too back then where these things were not happening. So credit Tom for not caring any backlash or what anyone thought. He liked you as a person. We know that.
As an athlete?
Yeah. and said,
Mhm.
"Hey, we can help win, and let's do it." Says a lot
Yeah,
about
I
him.
mean, yeah, I mean, you look at it, he was legit rebranding and rebuilding the program, and it's kind of cool to look back on. Yes, we had a 500 record, but we were the beginning to what is built now.
Yeah.
And it's incredible watching what they have built.
What can you remember like that first day? Like, was it weird or not?
Um,
I mean, it would be
so
weird just being different sport too.
it was a mix, right? So naturally, I'm swinging my leg like a pendulum. It's
Yeah.
going to kick a ball. Was it different? Absolutely. I'm grateful that I had all the upperclassmen. So the seniors knew me
Mm,
from soccer. They were familiar with my athletic ability. Um, but yeah, I feel like I had similar jitters
yeah.
and was just open. That was kind of like one of my first eye-opening things of you just got to roll with the unknown because you don't know what will come from it.
Yep.
So yeah, I was a little nervous. I just went with it. And yeah, like I said, having the upperclassmen was comforting because they knew what I was capable of doing. But there were some of the underclassmen that came up to me and said they didn't trust me being there. And they thought I was just the female showing up until I actually started kicking.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
great life experience, right? I mean,
Mhm.
obviously, sure, I don't want to say toughened you up, but you had to adjust to, I mean, that can happen in same gender sports too, where, if you're a freshman coming in, the seniors don't like you. I mean, this was a lot of things rolled in one.
Of course, yeah. I mean, because there's personality. So
Yeah.
I'm well aware that I have a bubbly personality. I also like my, introvert time, but I have a personality, and TK knew that. He knew I had no problem giving him crap back. And it's kind of that line of I'm not going to mess with you. I'm not going to cross that line. And they were extremely respectful. I always joke too, right? So Division 3, we're different sizes. And I guess it goes along with, yeah, a senior might not like a freshman because of their personality, but then you have someone that comes in 5'2" and they know they have to fight a little harder.
Yeah.
I'm 5'11". I fit in with the size of a D3 football athlete for the most part, right?
Yeah.
So you got a helmet on, my hair was tucked in. I had a friend that always did French braids. No one knew I was a woman until I
Yeah.
opened my mouth. And I'll never forget JP going through our preseason game at Endicott, and you're going through the line saying good game, good game, and a guy goes, "Whoa, there's a chick on the team," and JP turned around and goes, "Yeah, you got a problem?" And it was kind of like that moment. It just kind of kept going of we're all here
Yeah.
for the same reason.
Yep.
We want to win and we want to play a sport we love.
Hmm. It's it's remarkable, like, and you said this before we went on, the things that you do learn when you go reflect, but sports really does teach you so many things. And maturity, working as a team, and I think it's good for people who are young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and putting myself in a position, right? So you see freshmen coming in, they're brand new to the college life experience.
Yeah.
First time maybe away from their parents' home ever. So everything's a brand new experience. And yes, I have so my teammates from soccer would call me Mama Bakes.
Hmm.
I always just have a naturally a nurturing side. So they got the best of both worlds where I could turn around and have those emotional conversations,
Yeah.
right? And help blend everything out. So yeah, there was a lot of beauty in many different aspects.
Yep. How about had a chance to be the first female to try out for the NFL, huh?
Yeah, that was funny because I do remember, I don't know if TK remembers. So but I went into his office and I said, I just got this letter in the mail. And he's like, nah, throw it out. I'm like, but it said it came from it's the NFL combine. Mind you, I know it's changed. I think the NFL has officially taken over. It
Hmm.
used to be they would have third parties come in and give opportunities to other Division 1, 2, and obviously 3 athletes to go and try out. And it was legit. I have the t-shirt from it. So I went down to DC 2 years in a row. And again, that was another pivotal moment of how can I challenge myself? So
Hmm.
the first year, not so hot. Now, mind you, I'm out of college already. Second year, I went and got a coach, and
Yep.
the coach helped me, and I did 95% better the second year. And for me, it was just doing something, showing to myself that I could do it.
Yeah. And you probably didn't realize what kind of mark you were leaving with other young females too, right?
Well, so to your comment earlier, I feel like because technology changes so rapidly, right? My story about the combine's not up there.
Yeah.
And that was another element to me playing football. And TK knows this because eventually we talked it out and I started warming up to it, but I wouldn't let reporters come into practices. I had one that wanted to come in our first practice. I go, I haven't even played a game yet.
Yeah.
Let me come in and play this. I'm here. I understand the hoopla around everything, but I'm also here to play the sport.
Yeah.
It's not a circus. And I think that was another thing that maybe the guys recognized, that I was there to play, not make it a whole, oh, she's the woman on the men's team. No, I was there to help actually build the team.
Yeah.
So that was always interesting.
Yeah, no, and I know what you mean, because in the field that I've been in baseball broadcasting, there's been a lot of females that have broke ground doing that. And I've been in ballparks where there's all TV people and they're interviewing, and they don't like that because they're there like me. And but it's I mean, I don't want to say it's unfortunate, but it is kind of the times that there's a lot of groundbreaking things. But you just hope that the news outlets are doing it for the right reasons and not doing it just for their own clicks and likes, which we unfortunately know that's why some do it.
Yeah, and there was another woman, I don't know her name, and it's no disrespect, but I feel it's when YouTube was becoming more popular, and I know it's when the NFL took over all of the combines,
Yeah.
and she was on it. And she
Yeah.
posted YouTube videos and she went and did it. And I think it's phenomenal. And if anything, my heart broke because I think she went and then pulled her hamstring, couldn't compete. So yeah, that's a lot of spotlight. So there, I'm thankful that there wasn't that much social media presence, because male or female, there's a lot of pressure. And
Yeah.
especially when you step into a man's world, there's even more pressure.
Yeah. And you're right. I mean, the NFL Combine, I think since the NFL has their own network, they do an Indy every year, and it's only on their network. And now that's become a national event, which,
Mhm.
yeah, they get, a huge viewership for that.
Mhm.
How about just the school, off the field? I know that Framingham State meant a lot to you in the classroom.
Yeah, it did. I'm still good friends with my suite mates from my senior year. So I had connections outside of soccer and football, which was great to have.
Yeah.
Um, and again, I'm all about connecting with humans, connecting with other people, cultures. I've just always been that way in my background. I have my degree in geography. I love the tight knit community of Framingham. Like, everyone's got your back. Everyone can help you out. And
Yeah.
it's legit a family is what we always call our group, is a family. And yeah, I enjoyed the small campus, walking around, hoping to God you got up the hill when it was
Hmm.
icy out, crossing towers, cross that
Yeah.
crosswalk. You just prayed to God you did not slide down. And I know specifically my extra semester I had, the RAs in rooming were kind enough to give me a single in
Hmm.
single in towers, so I can enjoy the last of what I had on campus. But I love that campus, and I know it's grown a lot since I've been out in 15 years.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. I mean, I think that I know when I was younger, there was kind of a push to go to a big school.
Mhm.
You look back at it'd be cool to have gone to like a big D1 school, but knowing who I was, and maybe you can relate to this, I don't know how well I would have done like going to a
Mhm.
specific sports school. And there's so many distractions where I think Framingham has got the best of both worlds.
Yeah, and I guess I can relate to that. So a mix of both things, but I had the opportunity to study abroad, which I highly recommend to anyone.
Yeah.
And it was a massive school because Framingham didn't have another university in another country. So I had to find another school, and it was massive,
Hmm.
absolutely massive. But mind you, I didn't go to half the classes because I ended up enjoying my time in Australia. Um, but looking back on it, I'm thankful for the smaller school,
Yeah.
because your teachers knew you. You knew the other students in class. You weren't a number, you were a person. Right. And
Yeah.
that's a huge thing that we feel nowadays, is people are like, I'm a person.
Yeah.
And that's where Framingham, I do think, makes a difference. President Flanagan knew me by first name,
Yeah.
president, right? So we had that connection. I could say hi to him on campus and he knew who you were.
Yeah. Yeah. And I see President Nemi eating in the dining hall.
Yeah.
She's in McCarthy a lot. I've seen her walking around campus, walking downtown. Yeah, I think people, because as a young person, you are intimidated by the president of a school, and now you get to kind of walk in the same lanes. I mean, I think that is so special for the young students that are coming in.
Yeah, and if you look at some of the magazines that have come out, right, we have one of the best nutritional programs in the country,
Yeah,
one of the best fashion programs. I'm watching two of my soccer teammates do phenomenal stuff with their arts. The school has a lot of great people, and sometimes professors want to go to the smaller schools because they want to help create that next person,
yeah,
right? It doesn't have to be a big school to be successful. We talk about this all the time about how the small things lead to big things.
yeah,
You
yeah.
don't
That's
have to
you're
be
right.
at a big university. You don't have to have a Yale degree to be successful in life. So Framingham truly has a phenomenal educational program
Yeah,
as a whole in so many different departments. And I feel like it keeps growing every time because other people want to make that mark. They want to make the change and they know that they're a person, not a number.
yeah,
So I think that's another huge aspect of Framingham. And anybody that's ever looking at schools, I recommend Framingham.
yeah. That's a good sales pitch too. And when, yeah, Steve De Silva. I mean, Steve said the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
He came and spoke to the communication classes and said that when he interned at Nesson, he felt, geez, all these people around here went to big schools and I'm this kid from Framingham State. Like, what are my chances? And Steve is one of the top camera guys there. I mean, he's the
He's
lead.
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I think he has 2 Emmys now
Yeah.
or
Yep.
something. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Our society is just a little crazy right now. I know it's a little off topic, but our society is all about titles, and it doesn't matter where you come from. It's the work you put into it, right?
Yeah.
So
And the
yes, I
person,
am.
right? Yeah.
I'm well aware I'm the first woman in New England to play men's collegiate, but my legacy from my teammates might be how I was on the field, right? And they
Yeah.
respect me. It doesn't matter what my statistics were.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Like how you play the game too, being a true pro. I think that
Mhm.
matters. And I think when you're older, you understand now that your coaches care more about that than, because when you're younger, you think if you don't win, they're going to be mad at you. But if you played hard, that's all they care about. I know TK's like that too,
Mhm.
you know?
Well, and he allowed me to be me.
Yeah.
Right. So that's another big thing. And then growing up as kids, we're in a generation where you look back and we think about how I wasn't allowed to be me. I wasn't allowed to be that. Like TK didn't want to change me. He
Yeah.
wasn't going to do anything. He was all about how can I better you? How can we make this be better?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's great. That's a good point. And so can we talk about your project that you're working on? Or we want to keep that a secret?
Um, I
We
think we should keep it under wraps a little
we
bit.
will, but you have a big project coming soon and we can't wait to see it.
And I'm excited for the opportunity to help some other people find their way, find their path, figure out the journey. And again, back to Framingham being a small community, I feel it's a great place for that.
Cool. Great. That's perfect.